Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video today. We'll have a look at some of the main news stories that have caught my attention in the press here today in Spain and also yesterday. And we'll also go into the comment section and check out what is happening there, because there has been plenty of activity in the comment section in recent times. So thank you guys for that. Now it's a lovely winter's day today, around 12 degrees Celsius currently, getting up to around 14, I believe. So that is an absolute bonus while I sit outside here and go through some of the main news stories. And we're going to start with this one here, because yesterday the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sánchez, announced that the minimum salary is going up again. It has gone up a lot in recent times, ever since this current government has been in power. And yesterday he announced an increase in the minimum wage to 1,080 euros per month. The first parliamentary duel of 2023, an election year between Pedro Sánchez and Alberto Núñez Feijóo in the Senate. On paper, the appearance was to report the measures put in place to alleviate the effects of the war in Ukraine. But the president of the government has used his first speech to announce an 8% rise in the minimum wage to 1,080 euros per month in 2023 after reaching an agreement with the unions. An announcement by the president after lashing out at some big companies that, according to the president, have increased their profits by millions but have not raised their employees a cent. So the Prime Minister yesterday, taking advantage of his time in the Senate to announce this increase and also attacking big companies here in Spain. There's definitely an anti-big company movement with this current government. They attack supermarkets, they attack banks, they attack energy companies. Anybody who's making big profits gets attacked by this government, and announcing that the minimum wage, as we can see here, going up to 1,080 euros a month. And if we have a look at this chart or graph here, we can see that ever since this government has been in power, since 2018, the minimum wage has gone up from 735 euros and 90 cents a month to what it is going to be currently 1,080 euros a month. So some big increases there ever since, as I said, this current coalition government has been in power. The business lobby is not very happy. They refused to take part in the official photos yesterday. Apparently they weren't happy with the negotiations. This is something that has been done between the unions here in Spain and the central government. The unions, in fact, wanted the minimum salary to hit the 1,100 euro mark a month, but the government was a little bit more prudent and kept it at 1,080. But no doubt we'll see more increases next year if this current government stays in power. Time will tell. Now a quick update on the salmonella outbreak that is affecting one of the most important tortilla de patatas restaurants here in Madrid, Casa Dani, which is in the Mercado de la Paz in the district of Salamanca in the center of Madrid. Famous for their tortillas is this restaurant, and unfortunately for the restaurant, 40 or so clients have been affected or have come down with salmonella or food poisoning as a result of eating those famous tortillas. And as we can read here, salmonella at Casa Dani. Since Thursday, they knew something was wrong, but they sold tortilla until Saturday in another place. The restaurant Casa Dani has 3 premises in the Mercado de la Paz in Madrid Salamanca district. The restaurant, located in the upper part of the premises, was closed last Friday morning when it was discovered that since Wednesday and Thursday there had been several people with food poisoning. Several people told this newspaper yesterday that on Saturday morning the famous tortillas were still on sale in the restaurant in La Gasca Street, and that when they ate them they also got food poisoning. One of them even fainted on Monday morning at home as a result of the discomfort caused, and another remains at home unable to move with diarrhea and a very high fever. These victims do not understand how one of the premises was closed and the activity continued in another one. So there we go, an interesting twist in this story. One of Spain's most famous tortilla restaurants, Casa Dani, continuing to sell tortilla even though they knew that some people had come down with food poisoning from eating their tortillas previously. Instead of selling them in one place, they moved them to another place that they have and kept on selling them, and some people are wondering how that is possible. So I'm sure that this restaurant is going to be in some serious trouble if those allegations are true, and the Madrid Council will no doubt crack down on this restaurant, and it could even force them out of business. Now, as we know, last summer was a very hot summer here in Spain, very high temperatures around the country, and unfortunately some people succumbed to the heat and passed away. And according to this headline that I saw here, more than 4% of summer deaths in European cities are due to urban heat. More than 4% of summer mortality in European cities is attributable to urban heat islands, according to a study at the Barcelona Institute for Global Health using data from 93 European cities. The study, published on Wednesday in the journal The Lancet, estimates that a third of deaths attributable to heat islands could be avoided if trees covered 30% of urban space. Cities are particularly vulnerable to high temperatures. Less vegetation, higher population density, and impermeable surfaces of buildings and streets, including asphalt, cause a temperature difference between the city and surrounding areas, a phenomenon called urban heat island, explained the ISG global researcher Tamara Ayangman, the first author of the study. So, there we go, an interesting story there. More than 4% of summer deaths in European cities are due to urban heat. And let's be honest, anybody that has been in a Spanish city in the month of July and August will know exactly what that report is talking about. Very, very hot, and it takes a long time for cities like Madrid, Seville, Cordoba, and the like to cool down in those hot summer months. And no surprise there that summer mortality last year, I believe, did increase as a result of those very hot temperatures. So we'll see what this summer has in store for us. And if it does get hot again and you are in a city here in Spain, get out and find somewhere cooler. That would be my advice. Now, the final piece of news today, an interesting story also, something that happened down there in Marbella. Apparently a car was travelling along one of the motorways down there in the Malaga province and cash started to fly out of the windows. As we can see here, raining cash in Marbella. Is it a crime to take money you have found on the ground? On the A7 motorway on its way through Marbella and at the height of the La Cañada shopping centre, €50 notes began to fly out of the window of a car, as well as personal belongings such as clothes. These notes created a huge traffic jam on the road as the rest of the drivers got out of their vehicles to collect the money. The rain of banknotes lasted only a few seconds and brought traffic to a complete standstill on this road in the direction of Cádiz. There is no exact figure for the total number of banknotes thrown on the road, although it is known that they were real. The drivers who stopped to take the money, according to the national police, have committed an offence of misappropriation. So, there we go, an interesting story there. A car driving along the motorway down there in Marbella, cash flying out the window, people stopping their cars to pick up that cash, not realising, according to the national police, that they were committing an offence, the offence of misappropriation of funds. And no doubt people are being told to return that cash to the local police station, or otherwise they might get arrested. Now we'll leave the news there and go into the comment section, check out what is happening there. We'll have a look at this one here from Mike. I am not a vegetarian, but I do prefer to eat those traditional lentil dishes without the chorizo, etc. That bread you had looked like a nice bread, not the obligatory dried up Spanish bread that you get when you eat out. The second dish I would eat as is, or with meat or fish. This is my kind of food. Lovely. Yeah, Mike, thanks for the comment, and obviously referring to a video that I did last week when I sat down, had a couple of traditional Spanish dishes, a lentil dish and a vegetable dish. And Mike saying here that although he's not a vegetarian, he does prefer to eat lentil dishes without the typical chorizo, morcilla, pancetta and other meats that can sometimes find their way into the lentil dish. I also enjoyed that lentil dish the other day without the meat. In fact, I will try to order that again in the future to cut down on my meat intake, especially those fatty meats like chorizo, morcilla and the like. And when it comes to the bread aspect of that video that Mike also mentions here, I do like to spend a little bit extra on bread, get a decent loaf of bread, a loaf of bread that will last 3, 4, sometimes 5 days, rather than the typical supermarket loaf, which is a bit dodgy in my opinion. And you buy it in the morning and normally by 9 p.m. it's already dry. So good quality bread along with a good quality glass of wine, important when you sit down for a nice meal here in Spain, in my opinion. Another comment here from Mickey, Alicante Repsol, €20 10 cents for the orange gas. Yeah, Mickey, thanks for the comment. And in reply to a comment that was left in the chat section on yesterday's live stream about how much people are paying for a bottle of butane gas at the moment here in Spain, somebody said in Alicante they were paying €22.75. Somebody in Cádiz said they were paying around 18 or 19 euros for the same gas. And Mickey saying here in Alicante he's paying €20 for the Repsol variety of butane gas, which as we know normally comes in an orange bottle. So thanks Mickey for letting us know what you're currently paying for gas in your area. Another comment here from Stephen, that's so sad. So what does Spain export if everything in Spain are imports? Chickpeas that used to be the main meal in the past for many Spaniards. I live in Canada, Montreal, and try to find Spanish products. Besides some good wines, which are overly priced 3 times more, and olive oil, which has become harder and harder to find, or becoming overly priced, I barely find Spanish products to buy. Yeah, Steve, thanks for the comment. And apart from the products that you mentioned here, for example, wine and olive oil, I'm sure that Spain exports many, many products. For example, fruit and veg. I know that Spain exports a lot of products, meat, fish, things like that as well, and lots of other products I am sure Spain is exporting currently. And I'll just correct you here, Stephen, not everything here is an import. There are local products, of course, but what happens nowadays is that people want products all through the year, so we have to import things as well. Countries also have trade deals with various countries around the world, so those imports come into the country as well. So for example, when it comes to asparagus and things like that, it's not asparagus season, but people like to eat asparagus. Go to the supermarket, you can find it there 12 months of the year, and obviously it has to be imported from another country, and that's one of the reasons why. But Spain doesn't import everything. There are plenty of products available here, but as I said, if you want those fresh products 12 months of the year, they have to come from imports. Another comment here from Julie: we encountered the German towing a caravan with a tractor while camping at La Garrofa in Almeria. Nice guy, travels with his dog. Yeah, Julie, thanks for the comment, and thanks for letting us know that you have spotted this German traveller, this German pensioner that's currently travelling Spain in a tractor with a caravan on the back of the tractor. Well, it's an old sauna that he has turned into a caravan, and you spotted him down here in Almeria. And it's good to see that this channel reaches all corners of Spain, and we have found this German traveller, and Julie sent in a picture of his tractor and caravan down there in Almeria, so we have proof of that. And it's also great to see that he's travelling with his dog to no doubt keep him company. One here from Harriet: nothing like home cooking. Those dreadful ready-made Spanish omelettes in supermarkets and patatas bravas pre-packed. What a pity. Yeah, Harriet, thanks for the comment, and I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't think of a worse thing to eat than a ready-made Spanish omelette that you buy in a supermarket. And the other thing that you mentioned here, patatas bravas, Mercadona, I have seen them on sale. I think also they would be terrible if you compare them to the fresh patatas bravas that you can get in any bar and restaurant here in Spain. And yes, it is a pity that ready-made products like the one that you mentioned here, omelettes and patatas bravas, are starting to dominate supermarket shelves. It is a pity because the traditional home-cooked meals here in Spain seems to be disappearing for various reasons. I mentioned some of them the other day. If you have an opinion on this, please leave it in the comment section below, but we all know what the reasons are. Primarily, nobody wants to cook at home anymore. Nobody seems to have the time to cook. People have time to do other things, of course, but cooking is on the way out, unfortunately, in many homes in this country. But no doubt that'll be the next thing that the government tries to rectify. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.